Two things to talk about today, guys. We've got Khabib being escorted off of a flight because the flight attendants feel uncomfortable with where he's been, with where he's been seated. All right, and then we have this as well. Tom Aspinal has agreed. He said yes to the John Jones fight. What a surprise! Who'd have thought? Who'd have seen that one coming? Tom Aspinal has agreed to fight John Jones. Let me zoom myself out. Now we're just waiting on Jones. Who'd have thought it, guys? But I figured this news isn't big enough to be one video by itself. Neither's this. I'll cram the two together. A little bit of a wombo combo. Let's get into this, though. So, Khabib was removed from a flight, right? So, basically, Khabib was near the emergency exit, okay, and I think there was a bit of a conversation between him and a flight attendant with, I think she was saying, I saw online, she was basically talking to him about, would you be able to help people, you know, if they need to get off the plane, blah, 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 blah. Bit of a misunderstanding from Khabib, but he eventually says, oh, yeah, you know, yeah, of course I can help. And then this flight attendant comes over and says that people have been telling her that they feel uncomfortable with Khabib on the flight. Well, not on the flight, but in this seating near the emergency exit. So we're going to listen, we're going to play it, see what we think, guys, because this is crazy. This is kind of nuts. All right, let's give it a watch.
It's not about the language.
So it's not about the language. So I heard people, I've seen people online say, oh, it's because he doesn't speak very good English, even though they're having a fluent conversation in English, but all right, we'll ignore that. But even the flight attendant there says, it's not about the language. What's it about then? What's it about? Is it a bit of racial profiling? Is it a little bit of that? You know, like, you know, you see a guy with this accent, the beard, you know, people sitting near the emergency exit. All of a sudden, flight attendants are uncomfortable. It's nothing to do with the language, according to her. All right? If it was to do with the language, right? If it was to do with the fact that maybe Khabib doesn't speak the clearest English and he can't understand English that well, she could have just said, look, dude, no big deal. It's just because there was a bit of a language barrier there, and we want to make sure that if there is an emergency, that it's a swift thing, and that we can get everyone off without any confusion. But she just said, it's not about the language. What's it about then? They feel uncomfortable. Terrible. Let's carry on listening to this.
And now you guys, because this woman don't understand what she's talking about.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're either going to have you switch your seat because my flight attendants are not allowing you to sit in the exit row, or you're going to have to get off this plane and then we'll have to leave because they're not comfortable with sitting in the emergency exit.
Because they're not comfortable. How about you give an actual reason? Give a fucking reason. Like, don't just say, well, you know, we don't want you to sit here. Or why not? Because we're just not comfortable with you sitting here. Why? Give a fucking... Like, you can't just be saying this shit like, it looks bad. It looks bad. And the fact that you're backing these colleagues up. I'm just uncomfortable with this foreign guy, this foreign Muslim guy sitting near the emergency exit. That was a burp, that. It's crazy to me. And she said, before people come out and say, well, it's because of the language barrier, she just said it wasn't about the language. Nothing to do with the language. If it was a language problem, why would she say that it's not about the language and make it look worse for the flight? You know, worse for the airline. If, let's just say, for example, all right, the flight attendants are nervous because he's Muslim and he's near the emergency exit. Why not just make something up? Or why wouldn't they just make up, like, it's because of the language barrier, we want someone sitting there that will know what we're saying, like, as we're saying it, no confusion, blah, 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 blah. Why wouldn't they just make that up? You know? You just say that. It looks worse than just being like, well, people are just uncomfortable with you sitting there, dude. They're just not comfortable with you being there. That is bad, bro. It's bad. And I like it, Khabib says here, who's uncomfortable? Let's find out.
My flight attendants. And unfortunately, it is fair.
It is fair because you're a Muslim and you're on my plane. How is that fair? It's like, I saw this post the other day, right, of a man In Britain, it's crazy over here at the moment. In Britain, being arrested because his social media post gave someone anxiety. Reminds me of that. The flight attendants feel a certain way, all right, and that's that. They feel uncomfortable, so let's actually punish the person that's done nothing wrong, all right? That is crazy to me. And she's like, it is fair because we feel uncomfortable with Muslims near the emergency exit. What the fuck? Is this not crazy? Like, am I looking too much into this? Or am I not looking far enough into this? To me, this seems crazy. To me, this seems a bit crazy. And it's really not fair. Khabib's correct. All right? He can speak English. They're literally having a conversation in English. A fluent conversation in English, all right? So it's nothing to do with the language. She's already said that. It's because they feel uncomfortable. It's not fair. It is fair. It's not fair. Why? Because he's got a beard and an accent. Like, come on, bro. It's Khabib, man. What's he going to do? I know not everyone knows who he is, but still.
Yes, it is.
You guys, when I was making check-in, they asked me, do I know English? Yes, I said.
And they said yes. I understand that, but it's also off of their judgment. I'm not going to do this back and forth. I will call a supervisor. You can either take a different seat, or we can go ahead and escort you off the plane.
So it's just going off people's judgment, and this is the problem with the modern world. And I'm going to get a bit, non-MMA related here, but this is the problem with the fucking world, dude. It just goes down to people's feelings. And it's really, it's a shit way to operate. Because it's like, well, I feel a certain way, therefore thing is bad. No. It's not how the world works. If someone says something that makes you feel bad, that makes you feel upset, uncomfortable, it doesn't mean that that's an objectively bad thing to do. It just means that you find it uncomfortable. It doesn't mean that the other person should be punished for that action. It's ridiculous. Like, could you imagine, like, just operating like that? Like, well, I feel like this, therefore, that is a valid reason to discriminate. It's just going off their judgment. Okay, but what about the objective reality? How about that? Why are we going off people's feelings all the time in this world? It does my fucking... And it, like I said, like that social media post, well, it gave someone anxiety, so we're going to arrest you now. What metric are we using? Like, what metric are we using to measure anxiety? Is it someone just ringing up, hi, police, yeah, I've got anxiety because of a post from this man. Go and arrest him, please. Absolutely, love. Will do. See you later. Is that really what we're doing? Like, we need to have a metric here, like... But let's say we have a metric, right? Let's say that somehow we can measure how upset someone got by something. It still doesn't mean that the other person's wrong for doing that thing. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's like John Jones. We'll come on to John Jones in a minute. It's like John Jones. If John Jones doesn't take the fight with Tom Aspinal, that's going to cause me a lot of depression. A lot of depression and anxiety, and I'm going to be really upset. So he should be punished for that because of how he's made me feel. Does that sound ridiculous? That's what's going on in this world. Like, it's fucking nuts. It's really crazy. And you'll see in a minute. He gets removed from the he gets removed from the flight based on people's feelings towards him, not because of something he's done. He's done nothing, right, to make anyone feel nervous other than the fact that he's Dagestani and he's got a beard. He's not done anything violent. He's not, like, been, hostile. Nothing like that. He's just sat on the plane, misunderstood a few words, and now it's, you need to move or get off the flight because we're uncomfortable with you, and yeah, get off. It's crazy. Let's carry on watching anyway because there's more to it.
Which one are we doing? We're gonna meet you. Okay, I'll call a supervisor and then we're gonna have to rebook you for a different flight. Josh, do you copy?
Right, and then Josh comes down and takes him off the flight. Listen, like, Khabib would fuck you up, Josh, little fucking soy boy. Like, Habib would fuck you up, dude. Really, Habib would fuck you up. Like, why are we doing this, bro? Why are we doing this shit? Like, it's pathetic. Well, we feel uncomfortable, so you have to then, like, suffer the consequences. Like, grow up. You're fully grown adults, and you're acting like this. Like, grow the fuck up. Like, honestly. It's pathetic, right? That's my rant over that. Habib, I mean, he's obviously trying to fly to, for the Umar fight, and he's been removed from the flight, so he's going to have to get on a new flight. Like, it's a crazy situation for Habib. Is it racial profiling? Maybe. Was there a miscommunication? Also, maybe. Is it grounds for a removal from the flight? Absolutely not. I don't think so. And like she said earlier on, it's nothing to do with a language barrier. It's just we feel uncomfortable. Pathetic. We move on to Tom Aspinal now. So Tom Aspinal, the absolute alpha male himself, has come out and said he said yes to the Jones fight, and he imagines he's going to find out in the next couple of weeks. Let's listen to what he has to say, because this is exciting stuff. Let's listen.
Have any latest on Jones' fight, unfortunately. Just waiting at the minute. I've said yes to the fight, I've agreed to it, obviously, and that's it. I'm just waiting for his side now.
Boom! So Tom Aspinal has agreed to the fight. All right, so the fight's been presented, which is great. It's good progress, right? Tom Aspinal said yes. Get in. Now we know if the fight doesn't happen, we know who to blame. All right, and we know it's going to be John Jones' fault. And I don't want to hear none of it. I don't want to hear none of, well, Tom doesn't deserve this fight. John doesn't need to take this fight. John doesn't owe Tom anything. You can all stop coping. If John retires, doesn't take this fight, he's a bitch. He's bitch moves. He's a soy boy. He's a little gay boy. All the above. You know, he's a duck. Quack, quack. If it walks like a duck, sounds like a duck, it's John Jones, all right? Aspinal said yes. Your move, John Jones. Let's carry on listening to what he has to say.
And the UFC to sort it out. Yeah, I'm just training now. I'm just training and getting everything focused to be as fit and ready as I possibly can, because who knows, they might spring the date on me quick, or they might say, oh, the date's going to be in 6 months, I don't know. But that's always kind of what happens between fights anyway. You never really know when your next one is. I'm just preparing now to fight, really. There's obviously there's no dates yet. There's an opponent there towards the next.
Right, so Aspinal says he doesn't know when the fight will be, so he's just training as if the fight was next week or whenever. I like that. I like that, Tom. Just stay training. Don't overtrain though, just in case it's like months and months down the line. But I don't need to tell him that. He knows what he's doing. He's a professional. He's a world champion. All right, the real world champion, might I add. He was actually defending his belt twice. Is he? No, once. Sorry, once. He's defended it once. He won it and then he defended it. He's actually got the same amount of heavyweight title defenses as John Jones. How crazy is that? That's nuts. So yeah, he's training for the fight. I like to hear it. I think the UFC are going to spring this on him. I really do. They're just going to keep him guessing. Then they're going to go, oh, Tom, by the way, it's in 2 weeks' time. I think that's going to happen. Because John Jones, I think he's going to be very clever with his negotiations. And Johnny's clever. Johnny's clever. I think he's going to kind of like make the UFC and ah, like not really know what's going on, and then John will come to him and say, right, I'll accept the fight, but I want it on this date, and it's going to be like a month's notice or something, maybe even less. I want it on this date. I want this date, this venue, this pay-per-view, and they'll go, yes, John, because he is the A side. I'm not going to try and lie and say John's not the A side, because he just is, all right? He just is the A side. I can see them springing this on him. Not because Dana White wants him to lose, but because John Jones wants as much advantage as possible. And we saw after the Stipe fight, John Jones was back in the gym training, and it was looking pretty good, to be fair. He looked like he looked in some good shape. So, yeah, so John's been training for a while. Just, I don't know if it was specifically for Tom, but he got in the gym quite soon after the Stipe fight, which was good. But yeah, I think it's going to be sprung upon him. See if there's any more to this, though.
Opponent and towards the next date and waiting to find out when that is. I should imagine going to find out in the next couple of weeks, so it's all good. I don't have any.
The next couple of weeks. So, you know what, guys? I'm going to be on that shit. I go to Disneyland in 2 weeks. If that shit gets announced at Disneyland, I'm taking my laptop. I'm taking my webcam. I'm taking my mics and everything. I'm going to be fucking recording that shit from the Disneyland hotel because I want to get that shit out there. If that shit gets announced, I'll be the fucking one of the first on it. Or I'll do my best, unless I'm on unless I'm watching the fireworks with my daughter. You know, I can't sack that off. That's more important. Or is it? Yeah, it is. Yeah. By like that much. But yeah, exciting stuff. So Tom said yes, just waiting for John Jones. Oh no, say that shit. I was joking. I love Ariella. Not as much as Tom Aspinall. Anyway. I'm joking. I am. I'm not. Anyway. So yeah. Tom Aspinall said yes. Fantastic news. Khabib got kicked off a flight. Not fantastic news. Let me know what you guys think about these two things. I'm going to have my UFC 311 picks coming out tomorrow. I might try and upload every day up until the pay-per-view. I think that'll be quite interesting. I'll try my best, unless there's nothing to talk about. Friday, 9 p.m, I'm going live again. Another debate, all right? This time, the prompt is Jon Jones' legacy fraudulent? All right, and I have two people set up. One arguing for the point, one arguing against the point. It's not Lost Soul MMA. I saw a lot of comments say that this guy doesn't debate, he just yaps, he's rude, blah, 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 blah. I thought it was quite fun and entertaining, but obviously you guys had some things to say. So hopefully this debate is going to be a bit more... well, I'm going to moderate it. I'm not going to get involved. I'm just going to moderate. So I'll moderate the best I can. Give each person equal time. We're going to try and keep it to about 1 hour tops, and then I'm going to have time at the end for some chat questions. So if anyone has any chat questions for the debaters, put them in. I will do my best to read through. Look, if there's a lot of chats, which there was last time, to be fair, so thank you everyone that joined. I'm going to do my very best to pick out, to look through and pick questions, but there might be too many. If I miss yours, I'm sorry. All right, but yeah, and then obviously I'm going to be live streaming the whole event, the whole UFC 311 pay-per-view on this channel. So join that as well. That should be fun. And then obviously I'm going to have my recap, blah, 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 all that stuff. I'm going to have some more videos about 311 coming out this week. So, that's about it. Anything to say, Jazz? She says goodbye. So like and subscribe. My links are down below. Until next time, I'll see you in a bit.